You see how that closes the angle
Yeah.
in the hip here with the adductors? So in this respect, the quadratus lumborum can compensate for the same side hip adductors in a functional synergy pattern. So let's see here. I'm going to loosen this up a little bit, and then let's have you press in here. Good. Okay. And press in. All right, good. Let's have you turn the face up. So I checked adduction in the coronal plane. Remember we talked yesterday about people, as long as they're usually a lot better if they can stay inside their mid-sagittal and coronal planes. So that's why it's good to test outside those planes. And press in here.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
And press in. I'm going to take it through the range. That's concentric. Press here. That's eccentric. And turn on to your right side real quick. And I'm going to do a quick release of the quadratus lumborum. And face up again. And then I'll go back to those functional tests I just did. And press in. Good. And press in. And in the eccentric range, press in. Good. Okay. Same thing. We found a tight spot. See, this commonality is run through no matter how complex the relationships get. So there's going to be certain elements of your practice that'll be the same. Palpate. Took a gander about what it might be compensating for. It was the hip adductors. Tested them. They were off. Bad engaged motor learning. Motor control saying, well, okay, well, how do I do that? Quickly released the quadratus lumborum a little bit. Retested the same functions. They were stronger. Motor center says, okay, well, I did it this way. It felt this way before and it feels this way now. I like this way. This feels easier. I want to save this. I want to remember this. So I'm going to encode this, store it in motor memory, and go. All right. So that is a functional synergist. The quadratus lumborum moves when it shortens. Just the left side of quadratus lumborum shortens is going to pull parts of the body away from the mid-sagittal plane. Right? It's going to pull this part of the body away from the mid-sagittal plane. The hip adductors pull parts of the body towards the mid-sagittal plane. In this case, the femur. Right? So that makes them functional synergists as opposed to synergists, right? And also they don't attach in the same places, right? It's another identifying element of functional synergy is they have different attachment points, whereas the iliacus and psoas share an attachment point, right? On the femur. Okay, so that was a good one. Now, the other aspect of that quadratus lumborum, shortening, if I tighten my left quadratus lumborum, I'm also, and to lift my left ilium cranially, I'm also shortening my right side hip abductors, right? So that's another potential functional synergist. So let's see, left side, so. Press this leg out towards me. All right, and the coronal plane is good. It may or may not be here. Press out towards me. Uh-oh. Press out. Oh, the muscle test is not pressed out. It's showing up. Motor learning was engaged. Turn on to your right side again. Motor center is saying, okay, well, how do I do that? That didn't feel like, I didn't get the results I expected. Release the left quadratus lumborum a little bit. Face up again. We'll retest what we just tested. Press out. Oh, press out. Good. And press up. And now the response is much cleaner. Motor control says, oh, that was easier than what I did the first time. I want to remember how to do it this way. See, injury is the same thing. If we have an injury to our hip, motor control tightens the quadratus lumborum because suddenly that hip feels unstable. Motor control's having trouble keeping us balanced in gravity or walking through gravity, and then tightens the left quadratus lumborum and tries that and says, huh, well that's a little better than what I was just feeling. So I want to learn how to do this, and that's how it creates compensation, because at the time of injury, over recruiting the quadratus lumborum helped. It made it feel easier, right? So it's the same process, motor learning, motor control, trying things out, see what works better, and going from there, and then code that in memory. And now, post-injury, we're just backing it out and saying, hey, guess what? All these other muscles in your hips, they're capable now of doing their own work. And then motor control says, wow, okay, now I don't need to use that quadratus lumborum so much. So guess what's going to happen next? Turn on your right side again. By now, you thought it was going to hurt more, but it's not.
It's starting to get better, yes.
Yeah. The feeling of invasiveness in deep tissue, for example, working on a tight muscle, is motor control saying, hold on there. I need this tension, I need this muscle to stay tight because I've got it doing all these jobs. So it reports sensations back through the proprioceptive system that we interpret as pain, discomfort, right? So it's still guarding the muscle, but once we change the motor programming, motor control now says, you know, I've forgotten why I needed this muscle to be tight. So you have enlisted motor control in your tissue mobilization. Motor control is not working with you, you're working with it. So your tissue work, you can go farther with less effort. See, I'm barely having to work here, I'm just allowing it to sink in now. Right? But most importantly, motor control is allowing me to sink in. Right? So when I hit, I guess what I could feel is a block in the muscle, I'm trying to do the tissue mobilization, that tells me motor control is still using it to compensate. So I need to go back, return to basics, and check for what I missed so that we can get a more comprehensive resolution. And then when I've got it, sometimes the muscle, motor control, just let it go. But at least I'll be able to get that muscle softened up without so much effort. And that, of course, translates to longevity in the business.